Hello, everybody. Happy early Halloween, and welcome to the second episode of Adam's Accounts. As usual, we will have the same, not the same, but three segments. The first segment, the first account this week, the Halloween account. That is the rotating segment. We asked everybody one question, the first ever fully pre-recorded segment. That's really exciting. Up next, we're bringing on our special guest athlete. You'll find out who that is in a minute if you don't already know because he hasn't told you. Then finally, we're going to go to Adam's final account. I'm going to share a fun experience this week, again, unscripted other than the general topic of it. Yes, to answer a few questions, this is live. So I saw a lot about that last week. It is live. I can see your chats, though I'm not always watching. Other than that, there's not a lot to do. So let's get right in to the Halloween account, our holiday special segment. Hello and welcome to the Halloween account. I went around Hunter interviewing people, and I put together a short little video asking everybody the same one question. So let's take a look at that video now. All right, Emmett, if you had to be a professional athlete for Halloween, who would you be?
That's a good question.
Who would it be?
I was thinking about this for a second. LeBron James. He's white.
I don't have an answer.
I would be. I would be. That's a good question. I have no idea. Michael Jordan.
Probably Messi because he's the greatest of all time.
But that's an awesome shot.
Pete Alonso because he's like a polar bear, so I think that would be a cool costume. There we go.
Who would you be?
Shohei Ohtani.
Daniel Vogelbach in the 1980s Astros jersey.
I would probably be R9 Ronaldo.
Gotta choose Marcus Rashford. Come on, Man United.
Jalen Hurts.
If you had to be a professional athlete for Halloween, who would you be?
LeBron James. Switch.
Thank you so much to everybody who was lovely enough to participate. I guess in that little segment there. I mean, I believe that's 13 people in total. That's not including the people that I cut. Um, yeah, so let's, without further ado, get right into the athlete's account. Jasper, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being on the show. Welcome.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, Adam.
Sorry it was so last minute. We don't need to talk about that right now. So, yeah, a few little fun tidbits. I mean, I received an email. I received an email a little while ago that said, apparently that you guys are ranked, the boys cross country team is apparently ranked #1 in the state. News to me. I mean, what led to that, and what do you think of that? What does that mean to you?
Well, I mean, there's many ways to approach this, I'd say. I mean, first you could look at statistics, right? Um, we have we have 4 seniors on the varsity team, 2 of which are D1 recruits to Columbia and UPenn. We also have all of our varsity members are top 5 in their grade for uh, cross country and track. You could also look at it as like our training. We are very dedicated. We have practice every day, except for days before meets. And even if there's not a designated practice, you have to usually run on your own. Um, and then it's also like uh, I guess the morale is pretty nice as well. So we all enjoy track meets and cross country meets and practices. It's just a nice place, and we're all together, and it's fun.
Yeah, it seemed a lot of camaraderie, I must say. So, we're gonna go to our next question. All right, you said you didn't practice before meets, so meets seem like a pretty big deal, which I would anticipate they are. So, take me through a day in the life of Jasper when he's running a track meet.
Okay, well, so we usually have the higher level meets are on weekends, like usually Saturdays. So it's usually in the morning. Um, so we're supposed to arrive 2 hours before the meet, but, you know, uh, I don't know who wants to really get there 2 hours before the meet. Sometimes we arrive an hour 30, etcetera. And we have a warm up where we usually run a mile to 2 miles at a relaxed tempo where we can have a conversation and not get tired. We do dynamics to like warm up our bodies in other ways besides just what we did while running. And we also have time to like cheer on our teammates in other races. So that's kind of like the pre-race uh, idea, I guess. So right now it's if you didn't know, it's in the fall. The running season is cross country, where about it can be as many as like 300, even more people all lined up in one starting line. Therefore, it's a kind of hassle to get to the front. So it's a full-on sprint for the first maybe 200, 300 meters to get into good placing because that's key in cross country. I guess we mostly run in Van Cortlandt Park in the Bronx, if you didn't know. And it's for the freshmen at least. We have a relatively short course. It's about 1.64 miles, and I guess I can walk you through the course, right? It's like starts off on grass and it stays flat for the first give or take half mile. At the mile mark, there is a sharp, steep uphill, but just for a little bit, and then followed by a nice downhill, and then flat to the finish line. Um, so it's also in a loop, so it's very easy to cheer for everyone. And yeah, it's just an overall. It's a meet days are nice. Um, and relating it back to the first point where we were talking about our training, uh, sometimes we even like when other schools finish their meets, they just go home. However, the hunter team, we usually stay behind and do more hills, more we go to a track, you know. Um, we use our meets as training sessions as well, to see what we can target in coach's words, to make our weaknesses our strengths. Um, and yeah, so
I mean, you talked a little bit earlier, and you mentioned before the show about some little your warm up, and it's a very special type of warm up this year, particularly the jogging. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
yeah, I guess we have uh, so in cross country, there's multiple different groups, right? You have the varsity team, which in cross country, I don't know if everyone knows the scoring of cross country. Unlike popular belief, cross country is a team sport actually. So you have 7 people on the team in varsity, the top 5 of which score. The sixth can be used sometimes for a tiebreaker, and you add up the points of everyone. First place being 1 point, second place being 2 points, so on and so forth. And whoever has the lowest points in the end, whichever school has the lowest points, wins the meet. So it's not only just about having 2 or 3 fast runners; it's about having a group of like good runners. You know, there are some we last year we had the 2 seniors now who are the D1 recruits. We had them, but the rest of the team wasn't as like up to the par they are now. And so even though we had some of the fastest runners in the state, we still were unable to pull off like city wins and borough wins. So we so now we have, but everyone's been training throughout the year, the summer, and now everyone on the varsity team is like, everyone is a strength on that team. And, we have I shouldn't say we, they have states in 2 weeks around. And so, yeah, and we're hoping for big things there. Uh, Sorry about the jogging, right? So, uh, there's the varsity team, and then there's like the JV team, the freshman team. There's different like sects based on how fast you are. And the varsity team, they're really fast, so they like to do long runs at a fast pace. But us more like, in the middle guys, we like to do like nice chill runs.
Gonna
So we,
interject here.
yeah,
Where do you think I would be? You know my speed. You know
I
my.
mean, if whoever puts in, the great thing about cross country and track is we have a great coach. We have great coaches, plural, sorry. Uh, and if you join the team, you're definitely going to improve a lot. And, there's no, sky's the limit kind of thing, you know? Uh,
Yep.
but I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe you would start in the freshman run. There's no problem with that.
I
We're
would
all
start at the
freshmen.
freshman when I get to be a senior, probably. Is
I don't
that
know.
allowed?
All the seniors we have are fairly fast, so not really, but I don't know, maybe it'll happen.
Yeah.
Um,
And also
we
another question. Sorry to be interjecting with
Yeah.
the questions all of a sudden, but you mentioned as well there are, I believe, six. Sorry, yes, there are 6 runners to like a team. I don't know how many, but
There's
6 in
7.
schools.
Six of them are. The seventh is a placeholder in case anybody
Sorry,
like falls or something.
yeah,
But yeah,
sorry,
there's
7.
6
So
counted, but 7 total on the team. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying?
So you have, well, last week our esteemed guest Daria mentioned that they have exhibition matches. Do they have something like that if a team has 50 kids on it at a big school,
Uh,
for example?
good question. Actually, we have cities coming up this weekend, uh, Saturday. And even though varsity is limited to 7 people, the junior varsity team, I believe, can take as many as you want. And there's also even another section for if your school is a small school, which with not enough people to make a real team, you can just compete individually there. So even at high level meets like cities and boroughs where there's going to be some fast times, everyone is able to run usually.
Where are cities exactly?
So Van Cortlandt Park is the site for most of our meets. Uh, we've had a few, like maybe like 1 or 2 outside of the Van Cortlandt Park. Um, but once they get to like the varsity team gets to the higher level meets, like states is upstate, and if they go to regionals, it's in a different place. But yeah, so usually it's in McMorland.
Sorry, I interjected you. Going back to what's it called? Sorry, going back to the slow running. You called it the Ocho.
Yeah, so we when we run slow, we like to call it ochos because you know what makes things cooler than just saying it in English? Saying it in Spanish, right? So if you say, so we like running at like an 8-minute pace, which is like nice conversational pace for us. And so we just repeat ochos, ochos. And there are times where the coach allows us to run ochos. We're all very happy because it means we're not huffing and puffing. We're just having a nice leisurely run while having a conversation, which is nice.
That's fun. Any favorite teammates?
Uh, I could never. No. I mean, there are everyone's fun on the team. There are a few people that I like look up to, right? Of course, like the seniors. Um, they're it's I'll this is the only year that I'll be running with them, so it's like Coach Potter likes to say like to take in all their knowledge that they have of the sport of running like now while you can before they go off to college. But really, I everyone on the team is nice. It's a great team. I don't dislike anyone on that team. Um, so yeah, if anybody who's watching right now wants to join cross country, you really should.
So I mean, we had Daria give this pitch last week when I was getting the wheel up. We have the wheel up and prepared this time. So, do you want to give the little or a little track pitch in general? Because I know you generally all track.
So what about it?
I don't know. Do you want to give a pitch last week? I don't know if you saw Daria gave a pitch for going out to the tennis game. Do you want to highlight some more fun points about track that you haven't already mentioned?
Yeah, sure. So like I mean, we have to every day before a run. Usually we have core, which is it sounds painful, and it is painful. I get tired very easily from those. I don't think I've ever actually done a full core session because I always get too tired on the planks or something. But it's just fun. We're all on these stinky mats that are like probably 15 years old. Um, and if you take off your socks, they're definitely gonna uh, give you athlete's foot. But it's a vibe, and uh, and even though we're all like sweating and we're all like tired and like barely able to talk because our abs are so sore, it's fun. We've had a few moments where it was a little bit chaotic with like some wrestling fun and everything. Um, but yeah, it's really fun, and everyone on the team is great. Uh, yeah,
Quick shout out to George.
yeah,
Uh,
of course,
what?
of course. I say.
Yeah, George asked for it. So not everybody that asks for a shout out will get a shout out. So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have time for everyone today. So I mean, next up, um, we're gonna ask you the same question that we asked everybody in our intro. We're gonna shift away a little bit. If you could be any professional athlete for Halloween, who would you be?
Well, if any of you guys know me, I have an obsession over uh, a specific athlete. Uh, hails from Norway. He's a runner, and his name is Jakob Ingebrigtsen. So this is Jakob, right? He's a world-class runner from Norway, and I don't know. He's my running idol probably because he started running when he was very young and has stayed on the top of the running world for the past like maybe almost like 8, 6, 7 years. Uh, and he's only 23, so that's pretty cool. I have an obsession over this guy. He's my home screen. Um, uh, so yeah, I mean, if you didn't know that, then I guess I don't know. You've been living under a rock or something. So
So
yeah,
here's my one. My one. I'm not gonna mispronounce that name, but my one run-in that I've even heard of the guy was I was in Pittsburgh, and I don't know, they had in this restaurant the World Championships of running or something. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, every year, similar to how there's like a Super Bowl or a World Series, right? There's the World Championships for track on the odd number years. Uh, so yeah, this year it was in Budapest, Hungary.
So, and I was watching that, and I just watched, and TV was on mute, so they kept highlighting this guy who turned out to be your favorite, and I was very confused. Why did they keep highlighting this guy? And finally, we realized that he was the favorite, and then he went out and jogged and won by like 10 paces, and it
Uh,
was
I
he
don't
won
know,
the semifinal by 10 paces. It looked like he was
maybe.
jogging.
Yeah, he's an interesting specimen. He's fairly cocky, you know. I mean, it makes sense. He's the he's a world class runner, and he's been so for the past 6 7 years. Um, and for example, I don't maybe the semifinal race that you're talking about is he started off in the very back, and he's the crowd favorite. He's the favorite for the gold medal, and so everyone was like, "What is he doing?" And then in the last 400 meters, he sprinted to the front and started uh, kind of like wagging his finger and like telling the crowd to like cheer more and everything. Uh, a little bit bad sportsmanship, but it was interesting to watch. And he won the semifinals heat. Sadly, in the 1500 meters, which is the metric mile, um, he did not win. He had a fever that day, and he got second place for the second year in a row, um, which was sad for all of us. But he came back and won the 5K later that week, which was nice.
So, I mean, I just have to ask you this straight up. How much would you say that you know a lot about professional football, hockey, and baseball?
I would say, what's football? Um, yeah, I guess track is a kind of niche sport, and I do not follow like any of the bigger sports. So hit me with what you got, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, welcome to the wheel of predictions once again. And I apologize that I'm right now not facing the correct way. Um, there was a little computer malfunction today. My camera stopped working, so my computer's off to the side. So we're gonna spin the wheel 5 times, as we did last week, and we're gonna see if you can beat Daria, who got 4 out of 5 right, which was very impressive. And we're gonna see how you can do. So
Okay.
there are again off-screen prizes. Become a guest if you want to know what they are. And here's the first spin. So that is the New York Giants, and well, I called them the Oakland Raiders because I'm so used to them being the Oakland Raiders. They're the Las Vegas Raiders now. I don't
Ah,
know how I made that mistake, but it is the New York Giants and the Las Vegas Raiders coming up this week.
you know, I don't know how else I would answer this besides, of course, the New York Giants. I mean, I barely know that they're a thing, but like, you got to be New York proud, you know. So if if you're not supporting the sports team from New York that you barely know, then what are you doing, kind of thing, you know? So I guess the New York Giants are gonna win. I'm
They're like
manifesting it.
2-6. Yay. Next spin. Here we go. So we got the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Comments. This is actually, I believe, being played in Germany this week.
The Chiefs and the
Chiefs
Dolphins.
Dolphins. Yes.
Okay, well, where are they from?
The Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins.
Well, I mean, I like to play this game Proto Bowl, which is like online quiz bowl, and sometimes there's a sports section, and sometimes the answer is the Kansas Chiefs. So I'm gonna go with the Kansas Chiefs because I've heard that more often.
Okay.
So,
Um, So now we're going to pause for a moment and we're going to let the chat pick their winners because you guys like to talk over there in the chat. And we're going to see who the chat picks. We're going to give it 10 seconds. And nobody wants to type. Okay. Let's just keep going then because nobody wants to type. Of course, when I want you guys to talk, you guys don't talk. Hey, thank you, Scarlett. Scarlett wants the Chiefs. Well, here we go. Arizona Cardinals, Cleveland Browns.
You know, okay. My my great uncle lives in Iowa, and he is a big fan of the Cleveland Browns. So you know what? You gotta, blood runs deeper than water. Family is important. Uh, so of course we're gonna go with the Browns or the Chiefs or the Cleveland, whatever they are.
Cleveland Browns. I went to Cleveland this summer. It was a fun day. Or 2 days because it rained, and so I couldn't see the baseball game because it got rained out. All right, more football. I believe this is the fourth spin. Oh, a run. This is the fourth spin. So we have the Washington Washingtonians, I'll call them, and the New England Patriots.
You know, I don't know anything about football, but I've heard that the New England Patriots are pretty good. Is that where Tom Brady used to play?
Yeah,
Or Micah? Yeah, exactly. And everyone says Tom Brady's the GOAT, so we're gonna have to go with the New England Patriots. Is he
Brady
retired
is
though? I think
retired.
he's retired.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
last wheel spin. This is great. I love this segment. Chicago Bears and Arizona Cardinals because the Cardinals play twice before we see them next. I guess they play tonight in about a half an hour,
You
and then they
know,
play next week.
of course,
Tom Brady is retired.
I'm just looking at the names, right? So we're gonna have to go with the Bears. I mean, who ever heard of a bird winning against a bear? We're gonna have to go with the Bears.
Okay. Um, Go Bears. All right. Thank you. That'll end the athletes account. Thank you for being on, Jasper.
Thank you for inviting me.
Bye. All right. And this will bring it to the conclusion of our show and Adam's final account, where I'm going to do something a little bit different this week. So I'm going to talk about one thing. And then you guys are going to make me talk about another thing. So the thing I'm going to talk about, I had a little bit of an experience last night watching sort of the Jets and Giants game. So while I was getting ready-ish to play baseball, we ended up getting rained out after I showed up at the field, 2-hour drive. The Giants and Jets were playing against each other for the first time in, I believe, 4 years. And my baseball coach is a Jets fan, and he was just screaming during overtime. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. A 25-year-old, I won't call him a grown man because he's 5'7", but he's not 25, he's 23. Anyways, my 5'7" baseball coach going wild at football when he says himself he doesn't care about football. Really fun. I mean, our team has one Giant fan that I know of. And the only reason that I was rooting for the Jets is because they need to win more. I mean, so now I'm going to give you the 10 seconds again, and you guys are going to tell me what you want to talk about, and I'll pick one thing to talk about to close out the show. You guys don't want to talk. Arun, I would talk about basketball, but I have no clue about any basketball. Hey, if anybody wants to put basketball on the wheel for me. What is fine then? I'll talk about Hunter Bowling. Here we go. Ready? I don't know a lot about Hunter Bowling. I know they're in the playoffs, and that's about it. I don't know anything about Victor Wembanyama. Yes, Lev, I was talking about bowling. Anyways, Hunter Bowling is in the playoffs, I think, and they have a game tomorrow. I don't know. Go watch their. No, they have a game. Their next game is in Staten Island. Ben Kwan was complaining to me about. That's about what I'm going to talk about Hunter Bowling. I'm going to take one more thing before I close off the show. Lev, that was enough bowling. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about Hunter Bowling, really. Apparently, Messi won the Ballon d'Or. I didn't even know that. Thanks, Ben. So, yeah, he's a good soccer player. What else did you need to know to prove of that? Oh, I tried to go to a Miami Red Bulls game, but it was sold out. George. Thank you for the typo. And no, I'm not going to Staten Island. All right, so that very awkward segment will, unless I get a worthwhile comment. My day was fine, thank you, Ava. No. I went to school, I came home, I tried to fix the problem on my computer camera, failed to do so. All right, so now that is really going to be the end of the show. So thank you guys so much for watching. Happy Halloween, early Halloween. Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. I wonder, I know one person is going as their actual Halloween costume. So happy Halloween once again. Yeah. Good night, everybody. For the 4 of you, 2 of you now. For the 2 of you still watching, goodbye.